So back in the day, I used to be a big themer of my desktop, and I still like to make my desktop or my window manager or whatever I'm using look really nice. I like to add a color scheme, I like to add some icons, and I just generally like to make it look pretty. I don't spend as much time, however, on it as I used to. So what I wanted to talk about today was the idea that ricing isn't as relevant as it used to be. Now, this is just something that I've been thinking of. I don't have any scientific proof to claim that what I'm saying is true, so it just might be me. But it feels like the Linux community has moved away somewhat from the idea of constant tweaking of your icons and color scheme. Now, again, this may just be me, but I correspond with a lot of people in the Linux community, whether it's in my YouTube comment section, on my Discord, which you can join with a link in the video description, or just general people on the interwebs who use Linux. And it feels, just over the last couple of years or so, that ricing or theming has become less and less important to a lot of people. And some of that is just because it has gotten a little bit harder to do on certain operating systems or certain desktop environments, looking at GNOME. And some of that is just that there hasn't been much movement in the idea of how to theme a desktop these days. Mostly what we've been doing is the same thing we've been doing for many, many years, and it just feels like a lot of people find it no longer as interesting or as important to do as it once was. Or another way to put it is that they don't feel the need to show everyone what their desktop looks like all the time like they used to. Now, this is a generalization that does not apply to everyone. If you go to r/Unix porn on Reddit, they still do have people posting there. If you join their Discord server, people do post their rices or their themes on that server. But again, I don't have any scientific information, but it does feel like those submissions have gone down, and the variety of them have gone down. And because it feels like everyone's theme / rice / setup looks basically the same. There's not a lot of variation there. People use the same 6 or 7 color schemes. People use the same bar setup for the most part, outside of a few people who put a lot of extra effort in. But the vast majority of people who use GNOME, and it still looks like GNOME for the most part, right? People who use KDE, it's going to look basically like KDE looks like. Maybe you've moved the bar around a little bit. You probably have a color scheme, but there's only so many different ways you can make KDE look different before you've no longer using KDE, if that makes any sense. Same thing with like Hyperland. Hyperland has many different bar configurations you can use with WayBar or HyperPanel, but even then, there's only so much there that you can do, no matter how creative you're actually going to be. It's still a collection of things like your CPU and memory usage and your clock. You can only display those things in certain ways before everyone has used all the ways they could possibly be displayed, and therefore we just start repeating it over and over again. If you scroll through Unix porn, which you guys are seeing a B-roll of me do now, you can just see that, yeah, they're not all looking the same. But if you pay attention for long enough, you notice a pattern. People use Grovebox over and over again, which I don't blame them. Grovebox is a fantastic color scheme. But people are also using the same other things. They're using Katpuchin, or however you say it. They're using Everforce. They're using Rose Pine. They're using the popular color schemes. And once you've used all the popular color schemes, everyone's using them. Very few people use something that's fairly unique. Now, there obviously are exceptions to that rule. But if you scroll through where people share their themes, you'll find that you see patterns emerge. And that's just because creativity can only go so far in the whole customization of a desktop. There's not much more you can do to it other than a bar at the top or the bottom and, some color splashed onto it. Now, that's an overly cynical way of looking at it for a person who used to be really, really into theming. And I'm still, again, one of those people who like to theme. I just don't feel the need to constantly make videos about it like I used to. Now, I have streamed on it once in the last couple months, but before that, I hadn't made a video for several months about it. Whereas before, I was making a ricing video once or twice a month, maybe even more often than that. I just don't feel the need to do that anymore because there's only so much I can do. Basically, what I do every time now I decide I'm going to rice is I just change the color scheme of the bar that I enjoy. The bar that I enjoy is in Hyperland using Waybar. I have my workspaces. I have the temperature of my computer. I have the name of the window. I have the tray. I have the clock and all that stuff. It's all in a certain order that I enjoy. It's all in a color scheme usually that I enjoy. I can switch between the color schemes with a script that I've written. I add a new color scheme every once in a while, but very rarely. And, you know, that's it. Like, there's not anything special to it anymore, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way. They add their favorite color scheme to whatever it is they're using. Maybe they add an icon pack, and then they get about their business. Maybe this is just a symptom of me getting older. I just turned 40 not too long ago, and maybe once you hit that age, you decide that it's just no longer something you need to do to feel cool. Maybe that's what's going on with me. I don't know. This is a very short video. I know it's fairly pointless, but I just want to say, is ricing dead? Do you guys still rice your desktops, and do you feel the need to share or talk about those things like you used to? I'd love to know in the comment section below. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks everybody for watching. You can follow me on Mastodon. That link will be in the video description. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/thelinuxcast or on YouTube or Ko-fi. Those links will be in the video description. If you want to support me and get an awesome hat or t-shirt or mug or something like that in return, you can go to shop.thelinuxcast.org. There you'll find awesome merchandise, and all the proceeds for that go directly towards helping me make more Linux content for you guys. Also, you can't be a Linux nerd without the Linux Nerd hat. It's just against the rules. I don't make the rules, so just go get your hat. I appreciate it. It'd really help the channel. So thanks everybody who supports me on Patreon and YouTube. You guys are all absolutely amazing. Without you, the channel would not be anywhere near where it is right now. So thank you so very much for your support. Again, just you guys are awesome. So thank you so very much. Thank you. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful week or whatever it is. I'll see you next time.